past year has been a very fulfilling one. From getting my bachelor's degree in Belgium and studying in Finland, to meeting loads of new friends, to traveling even more than the year before. Once again, traveling has shown to be the thing that can truly make me happy. This is my year 2023. In early 2023, I embarked on an adventure to Portugal, a country I'd been eager to explore. First stop, Porto, where I met up with my Belgian friend Jimmy. Together, we wandered through the heart of the city, where you can find some cozy little streets or amazing views. Porto certainly isn't flat. Obviously, we also hung out around the Douro River with its iconic bridge. Jimmy also decided to leave a little mark behind by pasting a best sticker on a lighthouse at the coast. After, we paid a short visit to Coimbra, a 700-year-old university town.
Wow, yo.
Yeah. They do like always this dance.
Continuing our journey, we arrived in Lisbon, the capital of the country. Besides the loads of famous landmarks, you can see the old iconic trams everywhere through the streets. Definitely a well-known sight. On the other side of the river, you can find Almada, with an imposing statue of Jesus Christ. A little bit out of the city, there are even some hills, where you can find the beautiful castle of Pena in Sintra.
Experience it all. Experience the feeling. See it all.
And then, I parted ways with Jimmy to catch a night bus to Sevilla, Spain. I always wanted to visit that place, as it looks beautiful in photos, and I can say it also does so in real life. From the moment I arrived, totally sleep deprived by the way, I felt the traditional Spanish culture all around me.
It's nothing like I've ever seen. Experience it all.
In the Easter period, it was time for my third visit to Romania. Because of, well, money, I flew to Budapest, Hungary instead, before hopping on a bus to Romania. As it was my first time in Budapest, I basically speedrunned all of the tourist spots in the whole city. For people that don't know Budapest at all, you're probably gonna know this parliament building. After a pretty much sleepless night, I arrived in one of my favorite places on earth, Bucharest, Romania. I didn't film a lot of my visit, but safe to say is that it was as amazing as always.
Nothing like I've ever experienced. It's nothing like I've ever seen.
Instead of heading straight home after, I was going to visit a friend in Prague, Czech Republic.
Experience it all. Experience the
Since I went on an exchange with the European Student Association BEST last year, I wanted to help by organizing their course in Leuven, Belgium.
It's nothing like I've ever experienced.
It was only 11 days in my own city, but I still made wonderful memories with everyone. The evening the event in Leuven ended, I was already on a 36-hour bus ride to go to the other side of Europe. After a brief stop in Frankfurt, I did not much later end up in the Balkans. And first on the list was Macedonia, or more specifically, Skopje. Once again, it was an international summer course, this time organized by BEST Skopje. Safe to say, an exchange is surely not only about sitting in class all day. It is mainly about getting to know dozens of new true friends, but also about discovering the wonderful place that Macedonia is.
This is where our dreams begin.
The evenings were filled with many social activities, and we did some tours throughout the city. Most known is probably the Old Bazaar and the fortress looking over the whole region.
This is where our dreams begin. There's a light in the dark. There's a hope. There's a spark.
At the end of the week, we took a bus all the way to Ohrid for a weekend trip. What can I say about that place? Well, it truly feels like you take a step back in time. As it is located next to the oldest lake in Europe, we had to take advantage of it. Pro tip, sunscreen actually works.
And we were all once dreamers, looking towards the sky. Right now, this is when the time is. This is where it happens, where it all begins.
Please, could you marry me? I'll be like my BFF forever.
After the amazing week, I stayed a little bit longer in Skopje to visit some must-see places. So I went with some new friends to Matka, a canyon where we did some kayaking.
This is where our dreams begin. Alright now, this is where our dreams begin.
A couple of weeks later, I even returned, this time to explore two other places, Prilep and Valandovo.
This is where our dreams begin.
It's more up than I thought and it's warmer than I thought. It's 30 degrees, but okay. I'll manage. After leaving Macedonia, it was time to discover some other Balkan countries. On the list, Albania, Kosovo and Serbia. First up, Albania. Note to myself, as fun as night buses may sound, arriving in the city at 4 or 5 am is not the way to go. After a hectic arrival, I started my road trip to many places in the country. I started in Berat, which is pretty well known for its ancient look and being actual world heritage.
Look at this view over Berat.
So now I'm in Bucharest, next to the highway that the bus driver just dropped me off here. My trip continued towards the coast, where I visited both Vlora and Duras, Both places aren't too exciting, yet they have nice beaches and promenades. Vlora is the gateway to the, by now, renowned Albanian beaches, while Duras is one of the major port cities of the Balkans. The next step was going land inwards, to the capital, Tirana. It's definitely the most modern feeling place in all of Albania, or maybe even the Balkans. As Mount Daiti is towering above Tirana, I hiked all the way up for the amazing views.
Behind me is already a pretty nice view. I'm gonna take this road all the way up from here.
Finally, I went up north, to Skopje. During the daytime, there is some nice scenery in the surrounding hills, and at night, the city suddenly becomes super lively.
So it was fun and all, until I hear dogs barking to each other, and like in front of me.
The next step was leaving Albania, towards Pristina, Kosovo. Well, that didn't go as smooth as you might think.
So the bus ride should take normally 2 hours with normal traffic. Well, it took 4 hours and a half.
When people think of Kosovo, they instantly think of the tensions with Serbia. But besides the strong Kosovar or Albanian feeling everywhere, you don't really see much of the conflict at all.
Ugliest building in the world.
After more than a month, it was time to go back home by bus. On my way, I had to stop by Belgrade, Serbia. My day there started pretty shitty.
In the hostel there was a Dutch guy, completely wasted from the absent. He kept talking to me for an hour. I was like, no, I don't want to be here, or where the fuck.
But after that, I still enjoyed my stay and went to see the whole city. Once back home, I basically instantly left again, to Finland. I would be living next to Helsinki, in Otaniemi, for the coming year to start my master's at Aalto University. My apartment is located right next to the sea, on a peninsula. Initially, getting into it was a bit rough.
And someone picked up my keys beforehand from Hoas, but he was sleeping.
But after, a full week of getting to know new people started. My university is close to Helsinki, but not in Helsinki. Yet, Obviously, I have often been there.
We can go anywhere. This is where all our dreams begin. Let's go.
In front of Helsinki lays an island with a fortress called Suomenlinna. It's a nice spot, both for the nature and the historical fortifications.
Places we've never been. There's places we've never been.
Espoo, that's the municipality I live in, has loads of nature all around. The Saukan Casavuori viewpoint I visited with a new Italian friend. But most notable is probably Nuxio National Park.
In that golden light, our wings are catching flight. We soar to brighter days.
I wouldn't be Thomas if I wouldn't have visited other places in Finland. So that's exactly what I did. With a group of 8 friends, we went to a typical postcard town, Porvo.
Adventure is waiting there.
But I also did a pretty big road trip with my roommates. We started by going to the old capital, Turku. The castle shows that it is definitely older than Helsinki. The tourist websites made us discover Naantali next to it. 100% worth it. Our day ended with driving up the coast towards the north, with a short stop in Pori, to finally end up in Vaasa, with a little glimpse of the northern lights. The next day, we first explored Vaasa, or well, mainly played with the first ice we've seen in mid-October. Continuing, we did to the Kvarken archipelago, in between Finland and Sweden. Besides even more snow and ice, it truly looks magnificent.
There's places we've never been.
That day ended pretty far up north, in Oulu, where we rented a cozy cottage and where the sky suddenly lighted up.
There's places we've never been.
The following morning, we first walked through the center of Oulu. Next, we crossed the country horizontally towards Karelia. After a little stop in Kajaani, we ended up in Kooli National Park. There, we saw the first actual hills and skiing lifts in the country. For the final day, we basically drove all the way back to Helsinki. On the way, we still passed by Savonlinna to see the castle and have some lunch nearby. The second to last stop would be right next to the Russian border, at a sculpture park. Finally, we very quickly saw Lappeenranta. Now that I was based in Finland, I also did some trips nearby. That's why I did the Finns their all-time favorite day trip twice, by cruise to Tallinn, Estonia.
These are the days where moments are made. Now we were born to fly.
This city is way older than, I think, any city in Finland, and you really feel that.
Today's the day. Now's the time.
Tourism is not the only reason people do this day trip. Buying alcohol to avoid Finland's excessive taxes is the second reason.
Today is mostly buying alcohol.
Now's the time. Now's the time. Now's the time. Today's the
At the end of October, I flew towards Poland. My visit started with Warsaw. The first couple of days had truly horrible weather.
For fuck's sake, this rain is fucking annoying.
Besides that setback, I discovered the old town, which actually is newly rebuilt as it was completely bombed during the Second World War. The war is present throughout the city. Memorials and remnants can be seen everywhere. Also, the communist past can be seen, most notably the Palace of Culture and Science.
Now's the time for all our dreams to come alive. Today's the day to see the world in a whole new light. Now's the time.
Zrozumiesz, wtedy odwali na pewno, znamy como стоять.
Then, the journey continued towards Krakow. It's 100% the most tourist city in Poland. There are dozens of tourists everywhere. But honestly, it does make sense. The city is really beautiful and lively.
Now's the time for all our dreams to come alive. Today's the day.
A horrible remainder of the war is the nearby concentration camp, Auschwitz-Birkenau. The last city I went to was Wrocław, a student city. It's clearly a lot smaller than the other places, yet it has its own charms. The market square has a distinct look, and the signature of the city are the little dwarfs everywhere.
Now's the time.
The honor of my 10th new country this year went to Sweden, with a trip to Stockholm. We went by cruise with 8 friends, all on exchange at Aalto University. Once arrived in Stockholm, we first went on a little tour in the metro to the artsy stations. We obviously stumbled around the cobblestone streets of Gamla Stan, the old town, and also saw the rest of the center.
I was going to work on ice in Finland. Well, I'm in Sweden. Normally.
Besides the Nobel Prize Museum, we also went to Skansen, an open-air museum with traditional buildings. Now that the end of the year was nearing, the freezing temperatures in Helsinki were coming. The city was coated in a white snow layer, and the Christmas spirit suddenly came to life. Also, the sea next to our house suddenly completely froze, so that we could walk on it.
Where are we, Lucas?
Just 20 minutes.
Lucas, where are we?
Just 20 centimeters from the... We are now a bit farther from the coast. It's not only 25 centimeters.
Finally, a big thanks to my Belgian friends, European friends, best, and everyone else in my life to make this year so amazing. On to 2024.